Imagine your neighbour steals your daughter, forces her to carry a child, and then hands you that baby as if it were her own. This is the chilling story of Dorin, a single mother who thought she found a friend in her new neighbour, Adia. But instead, she invited a monster into her life. Stick around, because the way this mother discovers the truth about her missing daughter will leave you speechless. The story begins with Dorin, a devoted mother who lives for her only daughter, Princess. Dorin is a hardworking professional, and her entire world revolves around providing a happy life for her girl. But their peaceful bubble is about to burst. There's a knock at the door. It's Adia, the new neighbour. She's flashy, she's friendly, and she's inviting them to her fiancé Charles's birthday party. Dorin is hesitant, call it mother's intuition, but Princess begs her to go. The girl just wants to make friends. Meanwhile, at the neighbour's house, the tension is thick. Charles is furious that Adia invited strangers. He demands to know why she's bringing in people they don't know while banning his own friends. Adia's response? She simply doesn't like his friends. At the party, things get awkward fast. It's just the four of them, and while they try to make small talk, Charles can't keep his eyes off Dorin. He isn't looking at her like a neighbour, he's looking at her like a prize. But the drama next door is just getting started. A few days later, Princess looks out the window and sees Adia screaming, throwing Charles's clothes onto the lawn and banishing him forever. Fast forward a few months, and Adia is pregnant. Princess is confused. One minute the neighbours are screaming at each other, the next they're in love again. Their relationship is a toxic rollercoaster. But then the focus shifts back to Dorin. For the first time in years, she tells Princess she's going on a date. Princess is shocked. Her mum is finally moving on. As Dorin's date picks her up, Charles is watching from the fence, his eyes burning with jealousy. The next morning, a bouquet of flowers arrives at Dorin's office with a mysterious note asking how her date went, and telling her she won't regret going out with him next time. Dorin has no clue who sent them, but we know exactly who's stalking her from across the street. While Dorin is at work, Adia starts getting suspiciously close to Princess. They're hanging out and sharing stories, but Dorin isn't buying it. She warns her daughter to stay away from Adia. Then, fate intervenes. Dorin's car breaks down on a lonely road. Who should appear out of thin air? Charles. He offers to help, but when he can't fix the car, he insists on driving her home. Inside the car, the truth comes out. Charles confesses he sent the flowers. Dorin is disgusted. "You have a pregnant wife," she reminds him. Charles scoffs, claiming they aren't married, he doesn't love her, and he's only there for the baby. But as he drops her off, Adia is watching from the window. Adia loses it. She confronts Charles, but he tells her to shut up and focus on the baby. That night, when Adia tries to be intimate, Charles rejects her coldly. He's done with her. But Adia isn't done with them. She warns Charles that no woman will ever take him from her, and she means it. Charles starts showing up at Dorin's work constantly. Dorin tries to resist, but his sweet talk is working. Even Princess notices and asks her mum if she's seeing the neighbour. Dorin lies, calling it just friends. But Adia finds a text on Charles's phone. She doesn't just get angry, she grabs a kitchen knife and threatens to do something stupid. As Charles tries to disarm the hysterical Adia, she slices his hand open. Where does a man with a bleeding hand go? To the hospital where Dorin works. After she treats him, he convinces her to go on a quick dinner date. Big mistake. Adia follows them and watches from the shadows as they enter a hotel together. When Charles returns home, Adia is waiting. She's seen everything. As Charles tries to walk away from her drama for good, Adia lunges after him, slips and falls hard. Dorin rushes over to help, but the news is devastating. Adia has lost the baby. Adia's grief immediately turns into a terrifying promise. She blames them both and warns Dorin that she always collects her debts. Adia becomes a ghost, fueled by revenge. One afternoon, Princess is waiting for her Uber after school. It's running late, and Adia pulls up. Since they're neighbours, Princess trusts her and hops in. She has no idea she just stepped into a trap. Adia tells her point blank that she's going to pay for her mother's sins. Dorin comes home to an empty house. Her daughter is gone. She calls, she screams, she searches the streets. She even asks Adia, who coldly lies to her face. The police are called, Charles tries to help, but Princess has vanished. The truth is horrifying. Adia is keeping Princess locked in a shipping container. She beats the girl, brings her old clothes, and ignores her pleas for mercy. Meanwhile, Dorin is wasting away from grief, and Charles is the only one bringing her food and comfort, unaware that his fiancée is a kidnapper. One day, Adia brings Princess juice. Princess drinks it and blacks out. While she's unconscious, Adia performs a horrific medical procedure, using a syringe and a vial of semen to forcibly impregnate the girl. Adia then plays the long game. She apologises to Charles, invites him over, and drugs his drink too, taking advantage of him while he's passed out to ensure the timeline of her pregnancy matches. Months pass. Princess wakes up to find her stomach growing. She's pregnant, and she doesn't even know how. Adia mocks her, telling her the baby belongs to her now. Outside, Adia starts wearing fake pillows under her clothes, so the neighbours think she's the one expecting. Princess manages to find a pen and paper in her bag and begins to write a letter. The police eventually tell Dorin that Princess is presumed dead. Dorin's heart shatters. But in the container, Princess is in labour. The pain is unbearable, but Adia refuses to get a doctor. She forces the girl to give birth in filth. As soon as the baby is born, Adia grabs the infant and walks out, leaving Princess to bleed to death alone in the dark. Months later, Adia is walking around with a miracle baby. She tells Charles he's the father, but he refuses to believe it. In a sick twist, Dorin meets Adia and the baby. Dorin actually feels happy for her. She even holds the baby. Adia says the child's name is Aderici. Dorin is stunned. That was her aunt's name. The horror comes to light when a passerby notices a foul smell coming from an abandoned container. The police arrive at Dorin's door with a bag. It's Princess's bag. They found her, but she's been dead for months. Inside the bag, Dorin finds the letter. It details everything: the beatings, the kidnapping, and the forced pregnancy. Princess's final wish was for her baby to be named Aderici. Dorin realizes the baby she was just holding is actually her own grandson, and her daughter's killer is living next door. Dorin loses it, charging at Adia, but the police intervene. Adia is hauled off to jail, and Dorin is left to raise Aderici, the only piece of her daughter she has left.